I haven't made a video for quite a while. Our uncle's funeral took place on the 11th of April and his daughter stayed with us. His brother lives about 3 kilometers from us and we stayed to do the ordinary Songkran arrangements. That's not water fights in the streets, but temples and monks and the younger members of the family anointing the hands of the older people. The traditional Songkran. The deceased daughter works or lives in Sirasha, which is not far from Pattaya, and our uncle, the deceased's brother, works in the big container terminal Lam Chabang, which is just up the road from Pattaya. So because they were with us over Songkran, and there is a massive migration of people, particularly from the Bangkok Pattaya area to Isan during Songkran, public transport arrangements were difficult, to put it mildly. So we thought, having been in need of a break ourselves, my wife and I thought it would be a good idea and an act of kindness, if you like, to take the daughter and brother back down to the Gulf of Thailand area. So that's what we did. On the 17th we left our home and we drove to Pattaya. By the time we left at 6 o'clock in the morning, and by the time we'd found the right places to drop them off at their homes and at their work, we arrived in Pattaya at a hotel at 5:30 in the afternoon. Apart from a break for food on the way down, that meant 11.5 hours driving. When I got out of the car, it felt as though my legs weren't my own. We stayed in Pattaya that night, the full day, and another one night, and we moved on to Bangkok on the Friday. I needed to see Pattaya because I'd worked there for almost a year teaching English and was extremely happy. I loved the place. Sadly, because of COVID and other things that have gone wrong, Pattaya has, to use a modern expression, lost its mojo. It is nothing at all like it used to be. Countless bars have shut down. The place is just not as vibrant as it was, although I have to say that the promenade, if you like, the seafront, is much prettier, much nicer than it used to be. So the local council, the mayor of the town, they've done a good job in making it look nicer. But the heart of the town, of the city, has been ripped out of it. I had a friend who lived near me in South Wales who had a bar not far from Boys Town. They couldn't last during COVID, that's been shut down. And that was a nice bar. It was a hostess free bar, shall we say, and it's gone. Boys Town itself was the gay centre of Pattaya, and it was a tourist attraction in its own right. People would go there without being gay just to see it, and a friend of mine and I used to go there to have a quiet drink, pretend we were a gay couple, so that we wouldn't be hassled by anybody. We had peace and quiet to have a chat, and there were none of this, where do you come from, you're a very handsome man, and all that sort of stuff that gets on your nerves after a while. Well, anyway, we've not made a video for a long time, principally because the work that's been done hasn't really been the sort of work to video. Now, as you can see here, my uncle, a brilliant man, absolutely brilliant, has made this garage for me. It's in a sort of Thai style. I asked him if he used paper and pencil to work out the dimensions of this building, and he said no, he's done it all from his head. I know that the roof is perfect. The tool that he's used most in the roofs that he's made so far has been a spirit level. I would challenge anybody in the UK to make a better roof. We're trying to do several things before the rains come, and one of those things, if you look down, you can see that we are making attempts now to fill most of the yard or the area with chippings. They'll be put to the test when the rains come, and undoubtedly we'll need to put down more later, but all we can do is to try our best. The flowers on the side of the building, we've lost quite a few. People will probably know that Thailand is experiencing extremely high temperatures at the moment. It's cool now. I'm making this video at 5:15 in the afternoon, and it's comparatively cool to what it's been. There's a bit of a breeze as well, as you can see by my flags flying there. It's really very, very pleasant now. But the heat has been such that our computers, laptops, tablets just don't work. The heat in the house, we are unable to sit in the lounge at night because the temperature of the lounge is 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Were it not for air conditioning in all 3 bedrooms, life would be quite unpleasant, but everything is fine. We're expecting, we're having temperatures of 44 degrees centigrade. People in Africa are complaining about 40, and yes, 40 degrees centigrade is very high. But we've definitely had temperatures of 44 degrees centigrade, and this has been widespread over the whole of Isan. I'm putting up with it quite well. I actually think it's fantastic. When I think of friends and family left in Wales, I've had the wettest period on record. Wet and cold for about 6 months. I'm not going to complain about this. I'm lucky that I can take the heat, and I'm very amused at the fact that the people who are complaining most are the Thais themselves. When I made the last video, I think the roof on this old house where we are trying to make a garage for my wife and have 2 storerooms at the back, the roof had been completed. But in addition to that now, and in between the work here that you can see, we are building a small sala. My uncle, again, is extremely clever. He does everything from inside his head and doesn't use any pen or paper calculations. I could do it because I've studied maths at quite a high level and trigonometry and all those things, but he just does it. He cuts, he knows the dimensions of everything, and he's able to do this. At the moment we're at a stage where he is putting the floor into the sala, the roof having been completed a couple of days ago. I think tomorrow is May Day, so the rest of the people who work with us are not coming back until the day after tomorrow. Our pump is working overtime. If we didn't have a well, we'd be cooked, because to use a Welsh expression, the amount of water we've had to use for the garden has been huge, and it couldn't possibly have been done by using the local supply of water. You can probably hear the pump going now. It's replenishing the tank. It does that about 3 times a day now, and it's a 2,000 litre tank. Actually, I think that we are looking at some in the region of 12 to 1400 litres, which is accessible. So going around the side again. Before I do that, the couple of jobs that really need to be done, if you look to the top corner there, you'll see that the electricity is connected to our Thai kitchen building, but not in the manner which it should be done. We want a steel cable to run between the two, and the electric wires then to be supported, because when the rains come we'll have storms, high winds and everything else. I neglected to show on the front of the house, the old house that we recovered, we have the main power line coming in. We also have a fibre optic cable for our internet coming in, and at the moment they are actually touching the roof. So before any high winds come, they too must be put into a position held away from the roof by a small bits of metal to make sure that they're secure, and the fibre optic cable in particular not to be broken. The bananas have grown significantly. Well, they don't say that they have bananas, actually fruit on them. I think they've been cut very soon, and the leaves have been used for other things, like they make plates out of them. This is where I came round the corner first time. We have lost 4 plants. For some reason, this one's on its last legs for sure. But the flowers are beautiful, they are coming along. We still have a load of timber and bits and bobs from the old house. They will be either given away, or they'll still got work to do on the cellar itself. Obviously we don't want to keep them forever. The bad heat that we've had to put up with is good in one way, in that it's forecast to last for another 3 to 4 weeks. That means, of course, that the rains are not going to come for 3 to 4 weeks, and we are hoping that everything will have been finished as far as we can get by the time the rains come. It'll be at that time that we will realise mistakes that we have made. I can't tell you what they are now, but I think that the rains will put everything that we've done to the test. We have a sprinkler there to blast out water. The soil becomes very hard after it's wet, and it holds water. I think some of the plants, possibly the ones I've shown you which have died, they are standing in too much water and they've rotted from the bottom. We are picking up another member of our family on Saturday, so we'll be going to Songkran, and we'll be filling our pickup truck with bushes, flowers and everything from a place near the immigration office in Songkran. We worked out that they are the best quality and the cheapest that we're likely to get anywhere. My little Welsh flag is flying from my garage. My pickup truck is absolutely superb. I've driven some excellent cars in my time, but nothing beats this. This is phenomenal. I won't bore you. It's the top of the range Isuzu pickups, and it's great. So, as I say, when people have been doing the work here, they've just been banging, or the action has been maintained, though not at a great pace, for making a video of what the people were doing. So the next video I make probably will be when the work is actually completed as far as we think we can go. The videos themselves have had relatively few views and very, very few comments. And I don't know what I've been doing wrong, but I must have been doing something wrong. So if anybody can tell me, perhaps I've been a pain in the neck with my politics or whatever. But I've not had anything like the response that other people have had when they've shown their videos. I'm struggling to get 300 views. Nevertheless, I'll continue to make my videos for my own amusement. But in the future, assuming that our work on the land is complete and that it is okay, then I'll be making videos of interest, videos on subjects that I consider to be of interest, and anybody who wants to watch can watch, of course. I've come back to the front, and this just to show, if you can see where the fibre optic cable and the electric cable are touching the roof there. They need to have a support to hold them away and to make sure that they don't bounce up and down and break against that roof when we have high winds. There's still a lot of work to be done on the rescued old house. We need to have ceilings to make, at the moment the rooms are open to the air above, although the roof itself is enormous, and we have no fear of water going into it. So everything is looking great. The inside of the house is, apart from the very high temperatures that we've had to put up with, is great. Everything is working nicely. My solar panels continue to charge lights. We'll be putting a few around the back for the very rare occasions that we'll want to go around there at night. I've decided that I don't really need any more solar lighting. It lights up this particular part of the house very well with the ones I've got. So that's it. I mentioned before that the builder made a bit of a mess in getting rid of a walkway, and we've had to remedy the roof ourselves. He's asked to make a video of the house, but I'm reluctant to allow him to do so because, strictly speaking, he didn't build it exactly to our requirements, and we've had additional expense to put it right. So he can come and we'll see what he says about that. Having said that, I have to say that the work of his crew, absolutely superb at what they've done. It's not their fault that the plans were screwed up. Everything is just great. And I did promise in an earlier video that we would have a spectacular garden. Well, we're very, very far from that at the moment. But when I think about it, it took us over 20 years to get our spectacular garden in South Wales. And it's not a thing that can happen overnight. But we try to make the place look a bit pretty and a bit more homely. So there we are. Sorry I haven't made a video in a while. Nice and quiet now. My uncle has been working on his own all day. He's an exceptionally clever man. I don't know. I can't explain how he can do the work just using his head. Amazing. And that's a man who's had no formal education, certainly a million miles from any university education. And he's just fantastic. Fantastic bloke. Lucky to have him. Before I finish part politics, I suppose, on other people's building sites we have a load of rubbish spoken or written by some of the comments. They say we're all stupid to build houses in Thailand, that our wives are prostitutes and just after our money. Well, I've been married 22 years, and yes, like any other wife, she wants to have nice things. There is so much absolute drivel written on other people's comments. I've resisted the temptation on most of them not to comment. But if, as I mentioned in an earlier video that I made, when you look at the video, please look at that content and take it with a block of salt, but have little or no regard to comments made by most of the people who make comments, because they don't know what they're talking about, most of them. I suspect that the majority have never even seen the sky over Thailand, and yet they can give other people advice. Quite silly. So there we are, up to date. I'm looking forward to another break when the rains come. I don't think anything will go catastrophically wrong. I hope not. So there we are. Thank you for watching and goodbye.